important tips and resources for buying your home.
And depending on your guys' investment strategy, there's also, an opportunity cost to it, because let's say you wait a year or two to make the decision, and all of a sudden they raise the rates up to try and cool the housing prices down a little bit. Well, now you're paying $5,000 anyways, and potentially you're paying $5,000 in rent anyways, because now the housing prices are going up so much, they're charging more for rent. And then, what I want to do is help people not just have one home and be paying for that and working every day for the rest of their life. I want to help them get a second and a third home and teach them the investment strategies for that. That way they can rent out the properties, do Airbnb arbitrage, stuff like that. That way they have passive sources of income, so that they can just hire a property manager for 8% to 10% a year and sit back and collect checks and have that pay for their primary residence and not have to do anything. And part of that strategy is, right now, while the getting's good, get in at a low mortgage rate of, 3 to 3.5%, maybe lower, maybe higher, depending on your specific situation. Now, yeah, you are paying that $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but you're riding the wave up of the home prices and this massive amount of inflation of $3 trillion. It's going to take 4 to 5 years for that $3 trillion to cool down. The home prices are almost for sure going to be going up, on the worst case scenario, 8% a year. So on $1 million home, $1.2 million home, you're making $80,000 to $100,000 every year. 2-3 years from now, what you do is you go and potentially refinance the property and take a higher mortgage rate. So maybe you're paying $6,000 for the property now, but that gives you $200,000, $300,000 of cash to be able to go and purchase a second or a third property, or try out estate investing, or whatever you want to do. And that enables you to then have multiple sources of wealth.
Yeah, one other point I'd like to touch on that, Antonio. You touched on a great point of investing. Okay. So one other thing, what I have seen lots of buyers have started doing in this market, and I think the audience on this call, they might really benefit from that, the way other buyers are looking at it. They'll take the equity out of their current home, since they have built so much money in the equity in their homes. They will put up a small investment, either in Bay Area, on the outskirts of Bay Area. And it's all about mental thinking, how buyers have been thinking, right? They say, okay, this investment is going to pay for my kids' college tuition. I'm making this second investment. This is going to pay for my second kid's college tuition. This third investment I am making, this is going to give me this much rent or this much passive income, and I'm going to offset all my home expenses or all my variable expenses with this investment. So the way the buyers are thinking in this market is, pick up as much money from the market as possible, because the cost of renting the money is very cheap, right? Take as much money from the market, since the cost of renting is cheap, park that money somewhere, and then tag it with some of the expenses which they're going to incur in the future. And then they are mentally free. They don't want to bother about, hey, where my kid's college tuition is going to come from 20 years down the line. They are making it, they are putting that investment in the market today, and they're investing it in real estate. Just wanted to add that, Antonio.
Yeah. And one huge thing along the point of the past slide or two, that if you knew nothing else, you should really know, is the fact that if the government pumped trillions of dollars, a lot of their own money into mortgage-backed securities, which is real estate, you better believe they're going to wait, and they're going to do everything they can to keep people purchasing homes because when COVID started, a lot of the foreign investors left, and the US had to pick up the tab and purchase all of our mortgage-backed securities. So you better believe they're going to do everything they can in their power in order to wait until people and investors start reabsorbing those mortgage-backed securities from them and bringing their balance sheet back as close to neutral or zero as they can, which will never happen, but they're going to do everything they can in order to do that. And it's a good thing to have the government on your side when they can decide when they want to print money, how much they want to print money, when they want to lower rates, and do whatever or change policies and say, we're going to let everybody not pay rent today. You want that guy on your side. You don't want the other side.
Join our weekly webinar. Call us now at 408-763-8131 or visit the link on the screen.